Hi friends! I am in Taipei this week for a quick 4-day trip filled with stationery and art. On this trip, I met up with an old friend who is this crazy collector of rare antique stationery that you really can't see anywhere else in the world. And I also have a super unique crafting workshop planned that I am very much looking forward to. I've actually lived in Taipei for a year before, and the stationery culture here is amazing. This is where I originally fell in love with journaling and travel sketching, so it always feels a little bit like homecoming every time I come back here. This time, I wanted to take you guys along as I make my pilgrimage back to see some of my favorite stationery stores in Taipei, and of course I'll be doing a lot of sketching along the way to capture them in my travel sketchbook. So let's go! After landing in Taipei, I headed straight to the first stationery store on my agenda, Cutest to LiveBy. This little shop tucked away in a quiet residential area is a mecca for vintage style designs. The small space is filled with gorgeous antique furniture and collectibles. The old printing press at the entrance and this beautiful cash register are both over 100 years old. I love how well they've incorporated all these heritage pieces into the product display. It really feels like they've constructed a little magical kingdom of pens and notebooks. My favorite is this pencil section topped with an old store display that is a giant wooden pencil. Their original designs are all wrapped in this signature letterpress packaging with beautiful typography and gold foil. It really feels like a crime to have to throw away this packaging. The staff were really friendly too and helped me try out some of their original fountain pens. Now I have way too many fountain pens already, but it was nice to see these cute designs. My favorite find here was this DIY stamping kit. I can make my own rubber stamps by assembling these tiny little letters on a plastic plate. It's basically like a mini printing press. Ta-da! I think it'll be a lot of fun to use this for my product packaging or to make little handmade cards. And of course, no stationery trip is complete without collecting some store stamps. After spending way too much money here, I decided to sketch the shop and the very sweet staff that helped me out. I headed out and found a community park right across the street so I can sit down to draw, which actually turned out to be a very bad idea because I got completely devoured by the mosquitoes. For this stationery focus trip, I wanted it to feel more like a scrapbook journal and incorporate little paper ephemera from the stores I visit, so I made sure to leave space in my composition for them. I only had about 40 minutes here, so I had to be very quick. I used a really simple color palette. Other than a few splashes of red and denim blue, the majority of the scene is this wooden color of the furniture, so I was able to finish pretty quickly. I wanted to stick the stamp into my sketchbook, but realized I didn't have tape with me, so I went inside to ask if they sell tape, but the staff were super nice and just let me borrow their glue stick. 没有 Thanks to her help, I was able to finish this little journal spread. And I'm super happy I have this keepsake of my memory here. On the second day, I visited Plain Stationery, another hidden gem known for its old world nostalgic charm. They also have an on-site coffee roastery, and as someone who lives on good stationery and good coffee, I very much approve of this idea. Their signature items are their notebooks. This notepad with subtly embossed, nearly invisible lines is such a clever concept to reduce visual clutter. They're also known for original rubber stamp designs that are the perfect blend of cute and retro aesthetics. And then something incredible happened. Completely by chance, I ran into the same staff that I sketched at Cutest to LiveBy yesterday. She said hi to me when I walked in, and a few minutes later, I felt a tap on my shoulder. She handed me this note and practically ran away before I could even react. It says, "Dear Bingying, thank you for making the world a more beautiful place. It's a joy to explore it through your eyes and your art." That was so sweet of her, and it almost brought tears to my eyes. As a bit of an awkward introvert myself, I feel very blessed to have had so many wonderful encounters through travel sketching. I decided to stay for a bit and relax while sketching over coffee. I painted this storefront, again simplifying the scene quite a bit, and just letting some strategically placed shadows do the heavy lifting to suggest details and texture without actually painting a lot of details. I also thought the ink meets coffee signage at the entrance was super cute, so I did a close-up of that illustration as well. And finally, a little drawing of the coffee I had to fill up the empty space. Since I am conveniently sketching in a stationery shop, I just went over and bought some washi tape for securing my little paper knickknacks into my sketchbooks, including, of course, the note I got from the cutest stationery store staff. I got one of these sticker type washi tapes so I could just tuck it away into the back pocket of my sketchbook for future use as well. Here's another very sweet and unforgettable memory immortalized in my travel journal. So today, everything is shut down in Taipei because of a typhoon warning, but the weather is actually pretty nice, for now at least. An official typhoon day means all work and school are cancelled, so all these people who have nothing to do are just hanging around in the closed shopping malls and metro stations. To leech off of the free AC, I guess. Apparently, the only restaurants open during typhoon days are hot pot and Japanese barbecue for some reason. So we partook in this modern Taiwanese tradition of diving into a steaming, bubbling pot of spicy broth. Even though everything is supposed to be closed, this day wasn't wasted for me because I called up an old friend to keep his very special stationery store open for me. I first met Michael 3 years ago when I was sketching right below his store. He asked if I wanted to come up to see his stationery collection. Little did I know, I was stumbling upon one of the coolest discoveries of my life. He pulled out drawer after drawer of 100-year-old pens, rare antique nibs, fossilized erasers, and all kinds of amazing stationery gadgets I have never seen before. Today would be my 4th visit back, and honestly, this place is so well hidden, I have no idea how he stays in business. Hello, 好久不见. So I have an English channel right now.
Sure.
You're
Okay.
ready?
Yeah. Okay. Ready.
So this is Michael.
Yeah. Okay.
He owns Words. Do you want to introduce
Yeah.
this place?
Welcome to World Studio. We're the one and only greeting card store in Taipei. Actually, in Taiwan. Right now, we gather more than 18,000 different kind of postcards and greeting cards in this store.
While Michael's card collection is certainly impressive, I am here for a more obscure trove of treasures that he doesn't really advertise for. I know you're a big collector of vintage stationery. Can you show us some of your favorite collections?
Okay. Actually, here is a highlight check machines from 18th century.
What are check machines for us younger
You just
people?
put the numbers on a check, and then nobody will be to change it again because they punch a hole. The techniques. Over 800 boxes of nibs. I got over 850 desktop pencil sharpeners in this store. I believe that's the largest collection in the whole Asia.
So who's the largest collection outside of Asia?
From the jeans records, that's a grandma from Greek, and she collect over 6,050 handheld pencil sharpeners. But that's easy, and also they work always the same way, right? You twist it. But for mechanical textile pencil sharpener, they use different ways to sharpen the pencil. Oldest one from 1886 use a sandpaper. Okay, you put the pencil in and twist the angle, then you can sharpen the pencil. Here's some dip pen sets. When you see the umbrella, you know where it's from. UK. Here we got the pencil. You got a dip pen
what?
here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's made of clothes even here.
Oh yeah.
This one looks like a champagne bottle, but when you open it, it's actually a stationery set, 19th century. And you can see the three. The knife can help you to sharpen the pencil. And this is a pencil for you.
Oh,
to
so
write
cute.
with.
Okay, so this is the pencil. That's the dip pen.
Yeah.
He even has a 4-piece set that is just as small, with an extra teeny tiny bottle for carrying ink on the go. Oh, what? That's awesome!
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Is a pencil sharpener that shouldn't exist.
This was made for the 1940 Tokyo Olympics, which was cancelled due to World War II, so it was never even released into the market. The Axis powers, huh?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Germany,
wow.
Japan, and this is Italy.
Italy, yeah.
So, more like a display card for
Wow.
Thanksgiving.
So pretty. So they have like a smaller greeting card version of it, and this is the
exactly
display.
the same, but only half size.
You can even see inside the
Yeah,
little
the house.
the
Yeah.
house. Wow.
Oh, it's Christmas.
This for Christmas?
They're actually very hard to get nowadays. Probably cost around $300 or $400 US minimum.
Next up, I asked Michael to pull out his rare dip pen nib collection. Ooh, big box. Wow,
Yeah,
these
so-
are so beautiful.
Some of them have never been opened for over 100 years. See here?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty.
pretty.
So is that a sample on the side?
Yeah, some of them will put a symbol on the cover of the
Oh,
box.
very cool.
Yeah.
These are all for sale?
No, this is my personal collection. Like these two are very sought after. Probably will cost 600 or 800 for
Wow.
retail. Yeah, so.
Can you recommend some nibs for drawing? I need a smooth nib.
This is our
Ooh.
recommendation.
Do you have test nibs for these?
Yeah, this sure.
Michael recommended 3 vintage nibs from his enormous collection for me to test with, and I decided to sketch some of the cool antiques he showed me. I am by no means an expert in dip pens, but what's special about them is that some nibs are very flexible, and you can get lines with a lot of stroke width variation, something that is really hard to do with any other type of liner pen. However, some nibs can be quite scratchy on watercolor paper, so testing them in person is the best way to tell what's good for you. Once the ink is dry, I added watercolor over the test line work. Nothing fancy, just a simple layer of colors, but you can see how, compared to my earlier sketches done with fountain pens, these dip pen lines are a lot more expressive and just have more character. So out of these 3, I liked this one the best.
Yeah, this one.
Which one? Which one
This
is it?
is G-nib from Japan.
G-nib?
Yeah,
Like a regular
but,
G-nib?
The one I'm selling in this store is from 1963.
Ah, so better
the
quality.
older one, better quality, better manufacturing. Or you
Oh,
wanna just get it from here.
I would love a box. Do you sell the box?
Let me see. So how about I sold you 20 nibs plus a box with the price of 20.
This is a beautiful little vintage box, so I am very happy to bring it home with me.
Oh,
Yay.
oh.
I ended up staying until pretty late in the evening, and I gotta say, it was the perfect way to spend a typhoon day. My luck finally ran out, and the typhoon is here, for real this time. Apparently, every single person in Taipei decided to either chill in the metro station playing Pokemon Go, or hang out in the only underground shopping mall that somehow remained open. And then there's this family just full-on camping on the station floor. I had to wait 30 minutes to get bubble tea, and over an hour to get a bowl of noodle. But this is infinitely better than getting stuck in my hotel room, so I can't complain. To top it off, the underground mall had a pop-up indie art market happening, so against all odds, I still managed to continue my stationery quest, and I picked up these really cute stickers from a local artist. Well, that storm sure blew over fast. Now, for a little break from stationery shopping, it is time for something super creative and hands-on. This is Odd Jobs and Magic, a makerspace founded by an ex-coworker of mine who quit his tech job to pursue his passion for creating cool stuff and building a community for fellow creators. With his partner, they built this whimsical, magical forest in the middle of their shop where everything was handmade entirely from scratch over the course of 3 months. This is such a special place, and I feel like a kid in a candy store every time I come here. I just love all the charming, handcrafted details tucked into every corner. They hold workshops for making DIY and craft projects, and they also have a studio space where you can use any of their tools and equipment for your own projects.
Some of the guitars I've been working on, some layout dancing daggers.
Today I signed up for their mushroom lamp workshop, and yes, I did have to make almost everything from scratch, starting from the design. I decided to do an Alice in Wonderland inspired mushroom and just go full fairy tale core. I've always been more of a painter, and this was my first time sculpting with clay. I can't believe how much fun it was to make something that is three-dimensional and not just a flat drawing. Working with electronics and soldering irons was also a first for me, and it was definitely a bit nerve-wracking. Sculpting was so addicting for me that I also made this tiny little Cheshire cat to give it that extra storybook touch. And I am so happy with how this turned out. In the end, this took over 8 hours to make, but time just flew by and I did not want to leave. I will definitely be doing more clay projects in the future. If you find yourself in Taipei, definitely go check out the amazing workshops at Odd Jobs and Magic. You're like president shaking hands. I've shared plenty of vintage style stationery shops on this trip already, but now it's time for some cuter ones. Rikka Stationery is one of the sweetest, most wholesome stores I've ever visited. They focus on highlighting local Taiwanese designers, which was how I discovered this illustrator called Ink Sunday. Cute cats, riso printing, and dreamy, whimsical colors. These are totally up my alley, and I snatched up 3 of her posters in a heartbeat. What makes Rikka very special is their gigantic washi tape collection. You can buy a single loop of any of them instead of having to get the entire roll, because let's be real, who has ever finished the whole roll? They have a neatly organized catalog of all of the washi tape they carry, sorted by designer, so you can easily browse through them. These are all Taiwanese artists, and you would be hard-pressed to find them anywhere else. My favorite corner is their community journal station, where you can use anything in the sticker bin and leave messages for future visitors. There are some really lovely notes in here from fellow stationery lovers all over the world. The owner is also incredibly sweet. He's a bit shy at first, but mention any of his favorite stationery designers and he will just light up and talk for hours on end. I sat at the journaling station and did a quick watercolor sketch of his adorable checkout booth. The final stop on my stationery pilgrimage was another adorable gem called Lovely Room. They carry a good mix of popular stationery brands from Japan as well as indie Taiwanese designers. But what really sets them apart is the insane level of effort and creativity that goes into their sample display cards. For every sticker sheet, washi tape, and stamp they carry, they will create these elaborate three-dimensional collages that really make you want to buy everything on the shelves. This place is an absolute hazard to your wallet. To make matters even worse, I stumbled upon a limited-time pop-up event for the Japanese artist Obi-Wan, not to be confused with Kenobi. He has a signature brand of retro cuteness that is instantly recognizable. And this particular collection happened to be travel-themed, which was far too on-brand for me to resist. Naturally, that did not bode well for my wallet. And that wraps up the ultimate Taipei stationery tour in just 4 days. Honestly, if I stayed any longer, I wouldn't have any money left to get home. Discovering these beautiful things and filling up my sketchbook is always the best part of traveling for me. Thank you for sharing this cozy corner of the internet with me, and until next time, happy creating!